Prithi Chand decided to go to the Mughal emperor, who was Akbar at the time himself, and try and lodge a complaint claiming that the Ad Granth contained several anti-Islamic verses. Now Akbar, having already had interactions with Guru Amar Das Ji and Guru Ram Das Ji, was skeptical about these claims. Because Akbar had actually been enlightened by Jethaji before he became the Guru Sahib, and Jethaji would represent Guru Amar Das Ji, teaching Akbar about the Sikh faith. So Akbar sent for Guru Arjan Dev Ji to bring the Ad Granth to Lahore, and Akbar found nothing wrong with it. In fact, it was said that Akbar was so enlightened that whenever he could, he would go to Amritsar to listen to Guru Arjan Dev Ji and his divine wisdom. But in 1605, Akbar passed away, leaving a battle for secession. After his death, his son Jahangir, his eldest son, became the leader of India. Now, unlike Akbar, who was open-minded, Jahangir had the one goal of turning India into an Islamic state. No other religions should be allowed. Now, both Hindu and Muslim fundamentalists were worried about the growing influence of Guru Arjan Dev Ji because the lower caste were converting to Sikhism, because Sikhism had no caste system. So as a result, they persuaded Jahangir to go against Guru Sahib and the Sikhs. In fact, Akbar had actually nominated his grandson Khusro to suppress Jahangir and be the next Mughal emperor. And as a result, Khusro claimed several territories, which is in the present-day Punjab and present-day Afghanistan. But Jahangir called Khusro a rebel and exiled him. So while on his way to Kabul, which is where Khusro was going to seek sanctuary, he decided to stop at Taran Taran Sahib, which is where Guru Sahib resided at the time. He had heard from Akbar about Guru Sahib and how in bliss he was, his divine wisdom, so he asked Guru Sahib to do an ardas and give him his blessings so that he could have a safe journey. Guru Arjan Dev Ji, true to his nature, did the ardas and gave him the blessings and sent him on his way. But aiding Khusro actually gave Jahangir a reason for his imprisonment and eventually his shaheed. See, Jahangir writes in his diary, Duzuk-i Jahangiri, he writes, "At last during the days when Khusro passed along the road to Govind, this insignificant fellow made up his mind to see him, Guru Sahib. They discussed some preconceived things, and the Guru Sahib placed a saffron mark just to give a blessing. This incident was then reported to me. Now, Jahangir was already aware of Guru Sahib's false cult, as he called it. And what Jahangir said in his diary is that he'll hand Guru Sahib over to Murtaza Khan, he'll seize all his properties, and order for his imprisonment under some random political pretext." That is exactly what he wrote. And this is proof that Jahangir himself was involved in the Shaheedi of Guru Arjan Dev Ji. Most people just say Chandu Shah because Chandu Shah's daughter didn't get married to Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji. Well, that's why Guru Sahib was imprisoned and had Shaheedi, but that is not the case at all. Chandu Shah did in fact do the torturing or the imprisonment, but he played a minor role in the Shaheedi. Now, a lot of you may think that Guru Arjan Dev Ji simply went on the Taba and had Shaheedi after one day. But that is not the case. And in fact, this lasted 5 days. 5 full days, which Navjot Singh is going to explain. So in conclusion, Guru Sahib Shaheedi was called up by a multitude of factors. Started with Prithi Chand, complaints to Akbar, and eventually Jahangir's imprisonment due to Khusro. And with that, I'd like to hand the microphone over to Navjot Singh, who has been working extremely hard. for this speech, and I'd like everyone to stay and listen to the words he is about to say. But other than that, Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Many people thought that Guru Arjan Dev Ji just sat on a hot plate called a tava and then had Shaheedi. But there's a lot more to this story. Not just one. The location where this occurred is known as Gurdwara Sri Lal Khut Sahib. Let us now review the Shaheedi of our beloved fifth Guru, Guru Arjan Dev Ji. On day 1, June 12, the people who imprisoned Guruji did not let him eat any food, drink, or even sleep. But Guruji stayed calm. He didn't complain or fight back. Simply, he recited Waheguru's name, staying in bliss and peace. And on day 2, on the second day, he was forced to sit in a boiling hot water. Even though it was so painful, Guruji stayed strong. He didn't scream or show fear. He was in complete peace. And on day 3, the third day was just even harder. They poured burning hot sand over Guruji's body. Still, Guruji didn't complain. He just meditated and said this prayer. Tera kiya metha lage. Even a kind Muslim saint named Mir Mir started wailing when he saw this. But Guruji said peacefully, what does it matter if my body mind is at peace because I remember God? And on day 4, this is the most well-known day. Guruji was forced to sit on a red-hot iron plate, burning over coal. Just imagine, you can't even touch the stove for 1 second without burning your hand. But Guruji sat there for 3 hours, staying still, and he didn't even move. And he said this prayer, Tati Val na lage par Brahm Sanhai. And on day 5, the last day, the captors were frustrated. Guruji wasn't showing any pain or fear. Finally, Guruji asked them to let him cool off in the water. So they took him to the Ravi River in hopes that the cold water would irritate his wounds. He went in the water reciting Japji Sahib with his followers. Then Guruji disappeared into the water and he was never seen again. This is called Jyoti Jot, when a Guru's soul becomes one with God. The Mughals thought they won, but they were wrong. Guruji's spirit didn't die. It lived on. It passed to his son, Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji, who became the 6th Guru and would go on and move the Sikh community forward by creating the idea of Miri and Piri, the concept that Sikhs should believe in both religions and political spheres. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Sat Sri Akal, beloved Sangaji. Today I feel very honored to stand in front of you and speak on something very painful but very important for all of us to remember. The Sikh genocide and the attack that happened on Sri Harmandir Sahib from June 1st to June 10th of 19. Even though I'm young, I know this is a part of our history and not just a story from the past. It still hurts our hearts today, and it's something that we must never forget. Let me explain in further detail. In the early 1980s, many Sikhs in Punjab were asking for their rights, such as fair treatment, clean water, better jobs, and the ability to live with dignity. But the Indian government, instead of listening, called us separatists and made us look like enemies in our own homeland. A Sikh leader named Sant Janal Singh Pindranwale stood up to speak for the rights of Sikhs. He was brave, spiritual, and fearless. He didn't ask for violence. He asked for justice and equality. He stayed at the Akal Takht, or the throne of Guru Har Gobind Sahib Ji, which stands proudly next to Sri Harmandir Sahib, or the Golden Temple, which is located in Amritsar. The Akal Takht is the high seat of the Sikh authority. It is not just a building, it is a symbol of Sikh courage and leadership. But the Indian government did not like that Sant Ji was speaking so strongly, so they made a dangerous and deadly decision. On June 5th, during the sacred days of Guru Arjan Dev Ji's Shaheedi Parab, the army launched Operation Blue Star. They used tanks, helicopters, and the machine to fire on the Akal Takat and other parts of the complex. By June 6, the Akal was nearly destroyed. Sant Janal Singh Pindanwale and many other Singhs and Kaurs became Shaheed while defending the Guru's home. The attack continued until June 10th. It was not just a military operation. It was an attack on Sikh history, faith, identity, and identity. The Sikh Reference Library, which held rare handwritten saroops of Sri Guru Granth Sahib Ji and other historical documents, our heritage was lost in flames. Nobody knows the exact number of people killed. The government said a few hundred, but survivors and human rights groups say thousands of innocent Sikhs were killed. Some were shot, some were burned alive, some were never seen again. Sangati, this was not just one sad day, it was a planned attack to silence Sikhs. Later that year, in October of 1984, after Prime Minister Indira Gandhi was killed by her Sikh bodyguards, thousands of more Sikhs were killed in Delhi and other parts of India. Sikh men were burned alive. Sikh women were attacked. Gurdwaras were destroyed, and very few people were punished for these crimes. This is why we call it a genocide, because it was a government-orchestrated attack on people. And it was an attempt to destroy Sikhs, simply just for being a Sikh. But dear Sangati, even the Khalsa was never broken. We are still standing. We still do seva. We still keep our faith, and we still remember. So why are we here today? We're here to never forget the Shaheeds. We're here to teach the next generation about justice, not revenge, but justice. And we're here to stay united as Sikhs, so nothing like this ever happens again. I feel the pain of that time. I hear it in the voices of many elders. I see it in the eyes of survivors, and I carry it in my ardas every single day. Let us never forget the courage of Sant Janal Singh Pindanwale and the Singhs and Kaurs who gave their lives to protect the house of the Guru. They stood tall in front of tanks. They showed the world what it meant to be true Khalsa, which is fearless, truthful, and ready to stand for justice. So I ask all of you, especially the youth like me, learn what happened in June of 1984, ask questions, speak the truth, and live your life with values of Sikhi, the values of Sikhi, which is Seva, Simran, and always remember the Shaheed in their lives. Let us make a promise today that we will never forget, that we'll never stay silent, and we'll always stay connected to our roots. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਅੱਜ ਅਸੀਂ ਇੱਥੇ ਇਕੱਠੇ ਹੋਏ ਹਾਂ ਦੋ ਪੁਰਬ ਮਨਾਉਣ ਵਾਸਤੇ, ਰਾਈਟ। ਦੋ ਪੁਰਬਾਂ ਦੀ ਅਰਦਾਸ ਕੀਤੀ ਅੱਜ ਅਸੀਂ। ਪਹਿਲਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਗੁਰੂ ਅਰਜਨ ਦੇਵ ਜੀ ਦਾ ਸ਼ਹੀਦੀ ਪੁਰਬ 84 ਕੱਲੂਘਾਰਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਜੂਨ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੋਇਆ ਸੀਗਾ। ਬੋਥ ਆਰ ਰਿਲੇਟਿਡ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਜਦੋਂ ਜੂਨ 84 ਸੰਗਤ ਇਕੱਠੀ ਹੋਈ ਹਰਿਮੰਦਰ ਸਾਹਿਬ kind of like do ardas for Guru Arjan Dev Ji Shaheedi Purab. There are a couple of questions comes to our mind, right? Why that day is only chosen? Why not after Shaheedi Purab, 15 days after? Why only that? And why the attack was done not only Harmandir Sahib, other than 50 more Gurdwara Sahibs in Punjab, right? ਚਲੋ ਕਹਿ ਲਓ ਕਿ ਸੰਤ ਪਿੰਡਰਾਵਾਲੇ ਚਲੋ ਹਰਮੰਦਰ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਸੀਗੇ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਤੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਹਮਲਾ ਕਰਨਾ ਸੀਗਾ. Was he like cloned 50 times that he was sitting in 50 So all these questions we should ask ourselves. Punjab 'ਚ ਅਸੀਂ ਵੱਡੇ ਹੋਏ ਹਾਂ ਤੇ we always kind of like stop kind of like not to talk about it. Why this voice was suppressed? We should ask these questions. We should try to learn about the reality. We should try to learn about the truth. What was the reason behind it? Now it's a social media world, right? We understand if people have as a followers, they have an influence. So how they can attract people and make them change their decision based on their followership, right? Based on their influence. So that was the reason behind it. At that time, when Sant Pindrawala ji had so many followers, people were turning to a true Sikhs. They were learning Gurbani and reading Gurbani and try to be going on the right path of Sikhi. So what he was asking about Anandpur Sahib's resolution, which started in 1973. ਤੇ ਇਹ ਰੈਜ਼ੋਲੂਸ਼ਨ ਉਹਨੇ ਸਟਾਰਟ ਕੀਤਾ ਜਿਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੀ ਮੰਗਾਂ ਸੀਗੀਆਂ ਕਿ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਦਾ ਪਾਣੀ ਪਹਿਲੇ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਨੂੰ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਜਾਏ ਫਿਰ ਕਿਧਰੇ ਹੋਰ ਜਾਏ, ਰਾਈਟ, ਜਿਹੜਾ ਕਿ ਹੁਣ ਵੀ that ask is still now there. What was the other ਮੰਗ ਕਿ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਦੇ ਕਿਸਾਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ